To talk about issues that hound the Blue Ribbon Committee and also the recent developments of PBBM's impeachment complaint that was filed earlier today, we have Dr. Froilan Calilung from the USC Department of Political Science. Good morning, Doc. Thank you for joining us.
Hi, Doc. Doc, can you hear us okay?
Yes, good morning.
Ayun.
Good morning.
Hello, Doc. All right.
Yes, good morning.
Okay, Doc, let's start off with the Blue Ribbon Committee, no, that would resume today. Medyo critical itong mga hearing na ito because medyo gutom ang tao sa isang resolution for all this corruption. So, ano dapat i-focus nila dito? Kasi para hindi medyo kalat ang magiging pag-handle.
Well, basically, since I think they need to take this opportunity since the former secretary of DPWH is already back.
That's right.
I think all of the investigations should actually zero in on that level right now at this moment. And then if ever they will, I hope that they were able to gather enough resource persons over the break that they had, so that we will be expecting something, something else, something different, and something that is really substantial in this forthcoming hearings. And I hope the former secretary of DPWH will be able to come up with, very substantive. Call this mechanisms, and the truth eventually will actually come out, because I totally agree with that, Sir Diego, that the people are really wanting to really know a lot of things, especially because the president made a lot of promises last year, and true enough, until this time of the year, wala pa rin tayo nakikitang magandang resulta. So I think moving on, with the Senate Blue Ribbon Committee, I hope that they will be able to come up with something else, something different, and something that is going to at least be a good news for many of us.
Of course, Doc, alam mo naman yung mga Pinoy, they're going to watch out for this because matagal na nababanggit si former Secretary Bonoan with all these issues, and they want to see if he is going to point to someone higher. Di ba, Doc?
Yeah, actually, especially in that right now, kasi remember that in the past, when this issue came about, when it blew out in the open, he was still a part of the administration. So I believe there's some restraints, maybe there are some forces still trying to
That's right.
restrain him from giving out his all-out knowledge or insider information here. Pero right now na yun nga, wala na siya sa gobyerno, ang panalangin natin dito ay talagang maisulong niya at mailatag talaga niya lahat ng kanyang nalalaman para malaman natin talaga yung puno-dulo nito. Kasi at the end of the day, I think many of our countrymen are also tired already of the government giving us yung mga small fries, yung mga maliliit na
Hibi daw, hibi.
Yeah, wala halos tayong nakikitang malalaking isla. And alam naman natin that, yung lagi ko sinasabi, a corruption of this magnitude could only be orchestrated by people who have the power and who possess the authority.
That's right.
So kinakailangan talaga natin malaman kung sino yung nasa pinakataas. So this will be a true test of character for Secretary Bonoan if he is going and if he's willing to already name names here. We shall see. Otherwise, baka wala tayong makuha na naman dito. So, masasayang lang yung pagdinig na gagawin. Yun yung sanang mangyari dito sa proceeding na to.
Well, Doc, what are your thoughts naman doon sa the resumption of the hearing itself, as a whole? Because a lot of people or some people would point out that this hearing is just to fill in the gap or the void na, for that matter, ang ICC is in limbo. So ICI rather is in limbo. So do you think itong Blue Ribbon hearings are still important, that they will still gather important necessary information?
Well, it will depend mainly on the leadership of the committee, and to be honest, on my end, during the time that Orly Gutesa actually submitted himself to the Senate Blue Ribbon Committee and that he already started naming big names, or giving out, the allegations to these big people. And then he was cut short, he was cut off to the point that parang lumalabas siya pa yung may kasalanan later on. Doon medyo nagkaroon ng taong bayan, nagkaroon ng marami sa atin ng duda regarding what really is the purpose and intent of the Senate Blue Ribbon Committee under Senator Ping Lacson. And if it is really adamant about really going after these big fishes na hindi niya talaga po proteksyonan at wala siyang pagtatakpan, that is left to be seen, or that is yet to be seen at this point in time, because the truth of the matter is, maraming mga senators mismo, they're saying that the leadership of the Senate Blue Ribbon Committee right now under Ping Lacson is really quite questionable. It leaves a lot of room for doubts regarding the sincerity and the motivations of the Senate Blue Ribbon Committee chairman regarding what he really intends to do or how he really intends to orchestrate the hearing, because marami talagang marami ang nag-iisip, maraming agam-agam na nabubuo na hindi talaga niya tinutumbok yung talagang yun nga yung gusto nating malaman. Maalala natin sa mga nakaraang pagdinig, instead na malaman natin that all of these things patungkol doon sa liderato, patungkol doon sa may mga makapangyarihan na may hawak ng ating budget, ang nangyari may mga ilang senador ang na-implicate. Na hindi ko sinasabi na hindi tama yun, actually that is right. Pero somewhat along the way, we should not lose track of what really is the purpose and intent nitong investigasyon na to, at hindi natin i-divert sa iba't ibang mga personalidad na ang nawawala doon sa purview natin, yung mga mas malalaking mga personalidad dito sa issue.
Doc, how critical is it na this time around, kasi parang napabayaan speaking of Orly Gutesca, napabayaan na hanapin si Orly Gutesca, who is still missing. So how important is it for this leadership of Senator Ping Lacson, who is medyong rocky daw, to look for Orly Gutesca and to present him again once and for all, whether regardless kung yung statement niya ay totoo o hindi, at least nakikita mo hindi ka takot na ilabas si Orly Gutesca.
Yeah, I totally agree with that, and I think ito nga yung medyo hindi natin din maintindihan, with all the resources, with all the money, with all the intelligence funds that the government actually has in their disposal, how come they are not able to execute or to do these things primarily, kasi kung talagang gusto naman, mayroong paraan definitely. And I think kinakailangan lang talaga nilang seryosohin at mas maging mas maging decisive talaga sila this time around, because the entire nation is actually watching and the whole country is actually waiting for the end of this flood control myth to actually unfold. And I think at this point in time, kinakailangan talagang ibangon ni Ping Lacson yung Senate Blue Ribbon Committee, dahil nga yung the ICI is already perceived to be a failure in many of the people's perception. Hindi talaga nagmaterialize. So wala na tayong ibang patutunguhan dito kundi itong Senate Blue Ribbon Committee, and hopefully they will also be able to shed light on this issue. So yung kay Orly Gutesca, tingin ko naman hindi lamang si Orly Gutesca ang nakakaalam nito, Tingin ko kinakailangan yung Senate Blue Ribbon Committee, if they're really sincere and serious about this, they could actually try to look for other Orly Gutescas. I mean, people who actually have knowledge, direct-hand information about these things. And from there, makikita natin kung magko-corroborate ba?
That's right.
Or magdi-disagree ba yung mga sasabihin nila doon sa naunang nabanggit ni Orly Gutesca.
Well, Doc, I wanna ask you na rin, take this opportunity to ask you regarding the first impeachment complaint filed against the President, President Bongbong Marcos. Ito ay kararating lamang na balita kanina lamang, at ito na ang pinag-uusapan na magkakaroon talaga siya ng impeachment complaint. Anong masasabi niyo dito? What are your thoughts on this? Ito po ba ay nung nakita natin yung articles, have you read the articles of impeachment? Do you think there's a parang basis talaga doon sa kanilang complaint against the President, or this is just a deviation doon sa mga nangyayari ngayon?
Well, if you look at the basis for the articles of impeachment, and if they're going to, I think most likely they're going to be using the betrayal of public trust
Yes.
at culpable violation of the Constitution, definitely naman, doon lamang sa pagpirma nung GAA 2025, maliwanag naman doon na meron talagang impeachable offense. No? But, iba kasi yung tinitingnan natin dito from a legal perspective as well from a political
Yes.
point of view. No? So, titingnan natin dito, unang-una is that is the Congress, especially the allies ng bloke ni Martin Romualdez, are they still willing to support the president? Is Sandro Marcos going to be instrumental enough in blocking this move dito sa lower house? Is Speaker D going to have a hand in this as well? So maraming dynamics, maraming forces. Although there are several things going against the president. Number one, his trust and popularity ratings is really going down. Talagang pasadsad siya, and he is already going to the lame duck phase of his administration, definitely. And this may actually compel several lawmakers to actually vote in favor doon sa kanyang impeachment. So, titignan natin dito, unang-una, kung gaano ba talaga kalakas pa rin yung sway at saka yung political clout ng ating Pangulo dito sa lower house kahit wala na dyan si Martin Romualdez. And then titignan din natin dito kung ano yung magiging impression ng mga mambabatas natin. Siyempre kung titignan natin kung public pressure ang titignan, merong public pressure definitely because as the survey rankings is actually showing, the numbers will not lie that the people are really not in support already of the president at this point.
Doc,
Well,
sorry.
I wanna follow up lang ito kay Doc. Having said that, Doc, do you believe that there is actually a recontemplating among the congressmen in the House of Representatives of their political alliance, knowing na somehow yung numbers na nabanggit mo, bumababa yung Pangulo, medyo steady pa rin yung kay Vice President Sara Duterte?
Yeah, actually, this two, yung dynamics kasi nung dalawa, they will always be connected Primarily because kung titignan naman natin, ang mga nagsulong din naman ng impeachment labang kay Bongbong Marcos, ito rin naman yung mga pumapanik naman or mga nagsaside naman kay VP, primarily. And kung titignan natin, medyo, talaga siya, medyo malaki yung pagkakahalintulad, especially because both of them are coming from allegations of corruption mainly. Pero ang kailangan natin kasing makita rito, what will be the implication of this, especially heading into the 2028 elections. Kung nakita ng mga mababatas natin na meron pa ring firepower itong si Vice President Sara Duterte, especially nung nakaraang halalan, wherein majority of the people that she supported, they all won, at least marami sa kanila nanalo, at yung mga kumalaban sa kanya naman, marami natalo, at yung mga kandidato naman na sinuportahan ng Pangulo, yung ilan dito ay hindi naman natalo. I mean hindi nanalo. So, yung mga congressmen natin, syempre iniisip nila what will be their future coming into the 2028 elections, especially presidential elections yan. Many of them are actually running for re-elective or re-election positions. So, they're also thinking of what will be their political future. So, yung mga yung mga titignan natin dito. Plus, of course, tignan natin what is the public perception about this? I mean, is the people already sick and tired of impeachment? Are we getting enough traction from this? Kasi baka naman sobrang iniisip natin politically itong impeachment, pero yung pulso naman ng mga kababayan natin, ang iniisip nila yung hirap ng buhay, yung political and economic uncertainty, hindi na to yung kanilang gustong mangyari basically, So ito kinakailangan malaman din natin primarily because yung mga congressmen na yan, they are all beholden to their constituents to some extent, kasi sila yung bumoboto sa kanila. So if the public is no longer supportive of this impeachment, then they might be thinking twice about supporting it.
Of course, Doc, I'd like to ask you, you're talking about impeachment. There's an incoming impeachment pending the MR from the Supreme Court para kay VP Sara then before Feb 6. Now, if you have two impeachment complaints, one's a president, one's a vice president, we all know a lot of lobbying will happen sa Congress between both sides. Ang tanong ko, Doc, is how important is it that we take a look at the middle ground, the progressive, the pinks and the yellows? Because let's face it, kahit may solid ground si PBBM at VP Sara, yung mga solid base nila, yung sway votes tend to be in the middle.
Right, that's true. I mean, if we're talking about the votation, I mean, for the impeachment, titingnan din natin dito kasi yung numero nitong mga liberals tsaka ng mga dilaw, both in the lower house and in the Congress. And I think right now, hindi siya ganong karami unless, of course, they have already forged kahit siguro an informal coalition with the BBM bloc. Yun, siguro magiging formidable sila. Pero right now kasi, kukonti lang yung kanilang numero. No? So, even in the elections, I think ito nga, hindi pa naman klaro ngayon, kumbaga it's not yet cast in stone, pero may mga usapin na possible na coalition that will be formed between the administration and the progressives, just to be able to topple down the possible presidential bid of VP Sara. Pero yun nga, right now kasi, everything is, I think, geared towards ensuring that VP Sara will be impeached. Because if she will be impeached, that will be the end of her political career. And I think from then, magiging mas maliwanag na yung dynamics, yung galawan between the administration bloc tsaka ng mga progressives. So the biggest threat and the biggest stumbling block still remains to be the VP at this point. So if they cannot muster enough strength, or if this impeachment against the VP will not gain traction in this year, I think by next year it's going to be improbable already for them to be able to launch a good impeachment complaint against her that will, successfully result in a possible conviction. Otherwise, it's going to be, 2028 showdown talaga to between the administration, the progressives, and the vice president.
So, Doc, it's interesting. You mentioned that most possibly that the progressives, the middles, liberals, and pinks would likely forge an alliance with PBBM. The reason why I'm going to ask you this is because alam naman natin, yung mga liberals and progressives had long been fighting the Marcos brand since time memorial. So do you think they would be more inclined to join PBBM rather than VP Sara, or to stand their ground on their own?
Well, if you're going to judge it from their actions and their statements nitong mga nakaraang buwan, especially during the height of this flood control scandal, nakita naman natin that they are not very vocal about trying to put a stand against the president, but rather they're still harboring their yung kanilang purpose and intent is still focused on the vice president. So basically, I think posibleng mangyari yan. Laging nga natin sinasabi sa politics is the art of the possible. Anything could happen. Because in politics, wala talaga tayong permanent friends, no permanent enemies, only permanent interest.
Totoo yan. I agree.
Pwedeng mangyari yun. Yun nga lang, syempre, ang titingnan natin dito is what will be the impression the imprint that it will leave into the electorate. If they're willing to actually compromise their principles and their agendas just for them to be able to ensure that the vice president will not be able to surface in the presidential race, anong namang klase yung impression na maiiwan sa ating mga botante.
That's right.
So yun yung dapat din nila sigurong tignan dito, maraming angulo. Pero yun nga, I think if there's a possibility, definitely there is a possibility.
Well, lastly on my part, Doc, do you think also that somehow the filing of cases or impeachment cases against the president and of course the vice president for that matter is just also parang just to ignite anger to the public, para mas magalit sila, mas lumabas sila sa kalye at magprotesta? Do you think may ganong... go ahead.
Pwede naman. Kanya lang kasi sa tingin ko ngayon, parang ang mga kababayan natin meron na ring nararamdaman na parang protest fatigue. Napapagod na rin tayo. Siguro dahil nga sa napakahabang panahon ng pakikibaka natin at yun nga, yung ating quest for good governance hanggang ngayon inilalaban pa natin, and some of our kababayans I think are more bent not really on proving yung kanilang bearing at yung kanilang significance dito sa democratic spaces na meron tayo, but rather I think they're more bent on trying to ensure their very survival, no? Kaya yun nga, yung protest fatigue na yan is something that we need to see. Pero itong impeachment complaints na to, no, whether or not they will push through, it creates the perception among the people na merong katiwalian, merong hindi tamang ginawa, merong hindi na ayon na execute itong mga impeachable officers na to. So it creates a dent on their political capital as well, you know? So if the purpose is to weaken their chances, especially from the perspective of the forthcoming 2028 elections, meron talaga tong epekto, no, sa pareho. And then kung may epekto sa pangulo, may epekto sa pangalawang pangulo, I think magbe-benefit dito kung sakasakali yung mga progressives, no, kasi sila walang impeachable official na nandito sa ngayon. And again, yung rhetoric na maaari nila ritong ilaban is yung pagkakamali na nagawa natin noong 2022, no, na binoto yung unity team, and then na dapat si Leni Robredo among other things, no. Pero that could only happen if they are not going to form an alliance with BBM. Kasi if they're going to form an alliance with BBM and aatakihin nila si BBM, that will also take a toll on their part.
Alright. As always, maraming salamat po sa inyong oras and of course your insights, Dr. Froilan Canilong from the UST Department of Political Science. Good morning po.
Thank you so much. Good morning and God bless.